Hey everyone, Trevor here with Grain-Free Me in Fremont, Nebraska. Doing an update tonight because I feel really bad. We've had such a, well, it's not just here, you know, kind of across the country. And it's July. We're going through this heat streak. We do it every single year. And I know the last video I did, I was hoping to have some recipes up. It just couldn't happen this week due to the weather. And it gave me a chance to work on numbers to kind of compare how my recipes versus like store-bought gluten-free stuff. And I was really trying to dig into what a normal person that had the energy to do it themselves versus what a cottage food producer might have to charge to, by the time you figure in the equipment, the ingredients, and the time, I was just really trying to figure that out last couple days. And I was also playing around with the recipe a little bit. Now that I have the new equipment, does the original chaffle recipe work for sweets and treats, pizzas, etc.? So I don't know where to start tonight. I guess let's start with breaking down what it would cost for the least expensive way to get into doing the recipes I've been working on for 4 years. So let's break down just the basic bread and bun chaffle recipe. You're gonna need excuse me, that's pizza coming up. You're gonna have to spend a little bit of money to get started. This isn't stuff that you can just cook in a frying pan. So my basic chaffle recipe, my bread and bun chaffle, was based on the dash. Hold on. So it was based on the dash minis, which are single chaffle, and then also the dash mini multi, which, yes, they're still, haven't used that one in a while, so a little bit of goop there. But the crappy thing is, and I've complained about this in other videos, only the back two heated properly, so you couldn't use the front two. Ow. But I think you can get the dash singles for $13. And in my experience, I would probably suggest people just, if you're not limited on energy, that's not a big deal. You can just buy one or two But if you're going to try to get into cottage food production to help out your friends, family, and neighbors, you're going to have to invest in multiple 4, 6, 8 of the singles. And that's the cheapest way to get into it. Now, hold on, be right back. I should have had all this set aside to start with, but now that I'm getting into the dash multi-makers, is what they call them, we're jumping up in price a lot. Between this and the extra griddle plates, for 2, I think we're talking around $90. It's not. And going back to the individual makers, they're around $25 to get what you would need to be able to do the chaffle on top and grill plate, or the flat top. I'm still working on the flat top to see if that would work, but this, game changer. So you're talking $150 right there to get started. If you're going to do any kind of meaningful time, if your time is a cottage food producer, you kind of have to dump that money into it. And that's not anything new. If you're a baker, you're going to spend money on equipment, KitchenAid stand mixer. Some people spend $3,000-$4,000 on an oven. This is a heck of a lot more affordable to get started with. Some of the other things you're going to need if you don't have, most of my recipes I'm reworking that $30 food processor and a whisk and a couple of baking racks, cooling racks would be all you really need. If you're going to get into batch cooking and selling batch produced frozen products, you're going to need a good vacuum sealer. And I hate to say it, but you're not going to find one for $150 or less. You're going to have to spend that money. But again, your time is valuable, and being able to help out your friends, family, and neighbors, that's one of those investments you could start off without and buy it in a month, per se. Ingredient wise, you're going to end up spending probably $100 to get started, because most of the ingredients, if you do it in bulk, is so much cheaper than if you're trying to do it individually. So all in, all together, you could get started reality wise You know, you could get started for $100. One chaffle maker, almond flour, psyllium husk, mozzarella cheese, and a cornstarch grain-free baking powder. But I ran the numbers today, and I was comparing it to what a typical, and I wanted to break it down as simple as I could for people, because if you tell someone it's like 86 cents a chaffle, they don't understand that. They're paying $6, $7, $8, $10 a loaf for gluten-free junk at the store, and I just decided, I'm like, screw this, we're gonna go like gram for gram. What's it cost? Because nutrition-wise, my recipes are a million times better than what you're gonna get a gluten-free product. And what it really broke down to, okay, so if you're doing it completely on your own, you're buying the almond flour, you're buying the psyllium husk, you're buying the baking powder, you're buying the block mozzarella cheese, you're buying the eggs yourself, and you're making it yourself. It boiled down to, I think, 0.013 cents. So just over a penny per gram of ingredients. And time. That was including time too. Versus the cheapest thing that you can get gluten-free labeled is like 1.9, so 2 cents per gram. When it broke down to slices, so I was working on those numbers too. Like, how's that compare? A slice of gluten-free bread to one chaffle. And it was about, if you're doing it yourself, broke down to about 36 cents per chaffle, compared to 67 cents, I believe, for a typical slice, lowest priced slice of gluten-free bread. Yeah. If you can do it yourself, great. But this is where I talk a lot on the webpage about the community and the guild working together as a group. Because 2 or 3 people pooling their resources a couple times a month, you can knock that cost down in half. There's not really an easy way for me to talk about that. It is so complex. But the other thing I wanted to talk about again tonight was going back to where I'm kind of stuck, of someone buying just a $13 chaffle maker versus the, I don't know, by the time I bought this, got the extra plates so I could do the combination here, I think it was $90. You might be better off just buying the $25 versions, because Then you're still getting two, but you're getting all of the plates. I really wish Dash would reach out to me. We could work on some of this stuff and it would be amazing versus me having to try to go back to the silicone molds I was trying to print and 3D build, etc. But this is a game changer for picky eaters, just for texture. Having a flat top chaffle. I made pizzas tonight. I have recipes up on my webpage for the 4-inch mini pizzas using a typical chaffle recipe. So much better. I started adding butter powder to the recipe, and just having that grill, those ridges on the bottom, waffle texture on the top, structure was great. It was like eating a deep dish pizza. Texture was great, and it leaves me in a bad position because I have to, start creating separate recipes for different chaffle makers. And I don't know. I mean, my original chaffles were great, still are, but this really throws a wrench on the works because this is something I've been trying to build on my own, and now that Dash and a couple other companies have come out with swappable plates, it just changes everything. So I'm kind of stuck on that one. Doesn't really change the price on the ingredients, but it does change the initial investment. So tonight was kind of mini pizza night. I made a garlic cheese pizza and then just a straight up pepperoni pizza. And it's pretty cool if you think about it, because if you were tailgating or had a big family gathering, birthday party for kids, family reunion, whatnot, I think you could fit around 20 of the 4-inch pizzas. And I loved those when I was a kid. That was oddly one of the weird things that I shouldn't have been eating, but I didn't have issues with it. And we had these frozen 4-inch pizzas for 99 cents. So I would stock up on those when I was a kid. And I could microwave them. And it was just easy for me because I didn't have reactions to those for some reason, but regular pizza I did. And you think about it, for me, I made 2 tonight, and I'm like, okay, these are great. I could eat like 4 of these. Well, yeah, they're 4-inch mini pizzas. But if you've got picky eaters, how much more of a pizza does a 3 to 8-year-old kid need? A 4-inch pizza should be more than enough. And you can top it however you want it. Yeah. Best part was the grill bottom the pictures will be in the thumbnail tonight. I haven't had the time to figure out my Stream Deck and how to, and I don't have the energy or the time to edit these videos, to go in and put them into DaVinci. Someday, yeah, if I can find other people to take over all the rest of this, then I would have the energy. But you know, this MECFS crap just sucks. So tomorrow, my mom and son are coming up, and we are going to do a burger day, and we are going to try to break out the new mini, the 3-inch and the 1.5-inch chaffle makers, and try to knock out the maybe peanut butter chocolate chip tomorrow, because I have no clue amounts, how to work it in, but we're going to try that tomorrow. So I'll try to do a bunch of pictures using the new maker, flat top buns, using the waffle cone maker that I have for my tortillas as a smash burger press. I tried that last week. 3 minutes, worked amazing. And then also, because I don't like sweets, guys. That one's so hard to explain to people. So we'll see if we can get the peanut butter and peanut butter chocolate chip figured out. Anyways, went a little bit longer than I wanted to tonight, but you guys need to know I'm still out here working and trying to get things accomplished, trying to figure this all out. And going back to the prices, with all the numbers I ran these last couple days, if you can do it on your own, that's great, because it would be a lot cheaper than gluten-free products. Even when you figure in buying in the $100, $200 worth of equipment over time, you don't have to do it all up front. Biggest thing was, if you're a healthy person that doesn't have my limitations, you could probably batch out enough to make anywhere from like $18 to $25 an hour. Just with, $100, $200 worth of equipment. And you'd be helping out so many people. I mean, think about it. One chaffle a day. That's $30, or 30 chaffles per month. What if it's a family of 4? That's 120 chaffles per month. Most people don't want to spend the time and the energy to learn how to cook this stuff. So this is the long-term potential. which is why the guild and community page exists on my website. Elderly, disabled, you know, if you're going to be cooking this stuff for your own family, why not look into doing some extra batches that you could sell as a cottage food producer? It would be worth it. $18 to possibly $25 an hour. And if you've got a family doing it all together instead of just, I mean, that's based on me and my limits. If you've got a family of 4, man, you could crank out a lot of chaffles per hour. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys really consider what I'm talking about tonight. Check out the guild and the community page. I'm doing my best. I haven't had the energy to put together recipes for other people to try. But I'm trying. And we'll see where it goes over the next couple weeks. If you guys want to see pictures, go over to Facebook. It's Grain-Free Me 68025 on Facebook. Should pull it up and you guys can see the pictures. Other good news. I got the certificate the other day. Grain-Free Me is officially trademarked. Finally. Only took like 18 months, but here we are. And I hope you guys can like, subscribe, share, comment. I don't get many comments, you know. I guess that's it for tonight. Signing out from Grain-Free Me in Fremont, Nebraska. Stay safe. Take care, guys. And hopefully catch up with you soon.